Welcome to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I'm here with Paola Harris, who has helped to bring Braco to the U.S. and specifically here to Colorado. He is a man who heals with his vision, and without further information, I'll turn it over to Paola, who really knows more about him, to talk about Braco and what he does and why he's coming.
Yeah, I'd like to begin by talking about how I met him, because I used to live in Italy, and I lived there from 1994 to 2007, and just before I came back to the United States to live, I went to a conference on the paranormal on the Adriatic coast, and I saw this most amazing young man stand on a cube and look at an audience of 700 people, and as his gaze went over the audience very slowly, when he came to me, I felt my whole entire body vibrate with energy.
Wow.
Now, I wasn't ill, I wasn't sick, and a lot of people were, because what he does is healing work, but I felt energy, I felt this powerful energy, and I said to myself, this is a very special human being, this is a very special man. So I thought, well, I wonder how I could bring him to the United States so he can help people that are ill, and that he can be exposed to the Western countries, because he was very, very well known in Germany and Austria, and of course he's from Croatia, from Zagreb, and I had seen online that he was in Austria and was seeing something like 7,000 and 8,000 people on the side of a hillside. He would stand on the hillside and just gaze at them. Now, he doesn't touch them, he doesn't talk, he just gazes, and I thought that was most extraordinary. So I talked to the professor that was working with Braco. His name was Braco, and he explained to me that Braco got his healing ability from his teacher, whose name was Ivica. And his teacher had predicted that this young man, when he was 27 years old, would take over when Ivica died. So Braco and Ivica were together for many years, and then Ivica died in a freak accident where a rogue wave came and he drowned. And about days later, weeks later, Braco began to have this kind of ability because he had taken it from his teacher mentor. Now, Ivica's written many books, and he's known as being a very incredible psychic healer. He could see the past, present, and future. He's very well known in Croatia. And we had talked about this, Laura, the fact that these things are accepted in Europe a lot better than they are in the United States, that the idea of the paranormal is pretty normal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of that has to do with our history as a country, the sort of puritanical roots, and also, you know, the idea of gypsies. You know, they're just traveling all over Europe still, whereas, you know, there are some in the United States, but it's more of a rare occurrence.
Yeah, and these people are open to subtle energies where we're kind of brainwashed. I mean, if we have a child that has ESP or a child that has any particular talents, we tell them that it's bad here. Where in Europe, someone like Braco and other people that have these abilities to help humanity, and they don't, you know, they're not a commercial venture, they just help. They do so much for people. It's much more accepted. So you asked me how I met him. I met him there, and I decided to bring him to a conference in 2009 in Laughlin, Nevada. And Angelica Wycliffe, who was there at that conference, she was amazed with him and went back to Zagreb and stayed there with Braco, his wife, and he has a little boy, and she wrote a book on him. And the book is something like 21 Days with Braco. It's an incredible good book, because she tried to figure out how this was working and what his environment was, and she found out he's a regular, normal person. I mean, he has a degree in economics, but he has the ability to transmit energy, subtle energies, and you will find out from Jane, Megan, and the people with Angelica now that work with Braco that there are so many testimonies in the United States of people that have been healed, of people getting out of wheelchairs, but mostly of like cancer patients who have you know, some kind of lump or some kind of tumor that shrinks out of, you know, just out of the blue. In my case, when I told Braco that I would like him to come to America and I worked on it, I did have a family member who had leukemia. It was a 21-year-old family member. And I said to him, please, could you kind of work on that? And this boy was healed.
Wow.
This boy was healed. Now, does that mean everybody in the audience is healed? Not necessarily, but it depends, I think, on the destiny of the person.
Absolutely.
It depends on the openness to the energy. It's worth being in a room when Braco is gazing. And that's what he's giving us in Colorado. It's a gift. It's a gift to humanity. He's in Colorado on March 29th and 30th, but he's got several appearances throughout the United States that you could see on BracoAmerica.com. And it's a matter of signing up for the gazings, otherwise you'd have mass people just racing in. They're very organized. They are about 10 minutes to 15 minutes long, and they do about 9 a day. And Braco comes in, he stands on a cube or some kind of platform. There's a very special music that's played, and he begins by looking from one end of the room to the other. And amazing things happen that, you know, it's not attached to any ideology, religion, it's not attached to any particular philosophy. It's an exchange of incredible energy.
Sounds like an amazing experience. I'm really curious about it myself. Because you brought up him and why he does it, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that he doesn't take money for the service, that this is something that he's doing for the good of people, basically.
Well, he doesn't come from, you know, the Western commercialized situation. He comes from Zagreb in Croatia, and when his teacher, you know, Ivica, talked to him about his sharing this gift, it's a sharing. He basically has a degree in economics. There's videos on him in Croatia, and he's fine with that. But any expenses that come in from the gazings are to rent a room, to you know, to have the hotel for him and his crew and that kind of thing. So I mean, that's just logistics. He doesn't see individual people where you know, you go to see him, you give a donation. He doesn't do that. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't believe in elitism. He wants to be with the people. He comes from the people. In Croatia, he comes from the people, so he wants to be with the common people. If you go online and you see Braco in Europe and you see him in Germany, there are thousands of people there, and what they give him is flowers. Oh. So as he's walking by, they're handing him flowers. I mean, they don't hear, you know, they hand you a check or something, but the people are poor too. I mean, they're people that are basically common people that are tuned into this kind of energy. So in the end, what Braco is giving, and I think he's almost driven to give it, is this gift to humanity.
I think this is a great opportunity to see Braco, and want to mention that it's only $8 to go see him, which is quite reasonable. So that's for
one gazing, but I think they're doing 9 a day. So if you want to go to more than one gazing, you can pay for, yeah, I think it's online. You get the tickets, because otherwise it would be uncontrollable. We can't handle 7,000, 10,000 people like they do in Europe on a hillside. We can't do that. So it was very organized here as far as the number of people, the volunteers that help with the gazings. There are people that get emotional, so you have to deal with all of that. But what I want to stress to the general public is that he's normal. And it's a normal situation where you're in a room with a very special person exchanging energy, you know, where he goes from left to right and just goes across the room and goes back slowly across the room, and his eyes, you probably will have you know, some kind of photograph of his eyes, are very powerful, because what the story is that a lot of healings have even come about with a Skype gazings and with live stream gazings, and so we don't know. There is no explanation for that kind of you know, interchange.
Sure. And I think there's something very powerful about what can happen with just eye contact, period, and how rare is it for us in our society to just literally just look people in the eye, and who knows what's coming through us, and then in this case through Braco. I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, it's kind of a subtle energy, and I think that you almost, if you look at it as almost blessing people or having a blessing on people or sharing love with people. I mean, there's no way that doesn't work. I mean, you may not be able to measure it on a physics level because we're not that evolved as a planet. But you can measure it on a love and a giving level. So I think that would be the only explanation I can offer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to mention about Braco or about his appearance here before we...
Well, his appearance here is for now in March, and we're trying to get him to come back, so it won't be a one-shot deal. He's in Westminster this time at the West End Hotel. I'd love him to be in Boulder sometime. I don't know if we can work that out. I've talked about Boulder to Brock, so I said it's so cool. You would really love the mountains, and he's expressed a desire to meet Native Americans and to mix with the culture, because he's a normal person. He would love to do that. So who knows, in the future there may be other opportunities. We're working on it. And of course, if you want to see where else he appears, and maybe for your relatives or people that are ill that you would like to attend a Braco gazing, you could go to
BracoAmerica.com.
Absolutely. The .com part's important.
Great, and I'll also post all this information for the Colorado dates and the general website on my website, which is www.healingpowers.net. And great, I just wanted to say thanks so much, Paola, for being on the show and talking about Braco, and I look forward to experiencing this phenomenon myself. Thank you.
Oh, I'd love to see you there. Thank you for having me. That's going to be fun.
Thanks so much.
Okay.